Hey, everybody. Hi, how you doing? It's the off-night, folks. My name is John Doe tonight. It usually is Andy, but I'm John Doe because I've been working for the Democratic Party, and I'm afraid I'm on a list. But I'm heading. I tried to get across the border to Canada in Detroit. I couldn't get across the bridge. Then I tried to get to the tunnel. My car was too tall. So now I'm going up to Sarnia at Port Huron to try and see if I can get across the border. I may just try and jump off the bridge and slide over. It's going to be cold, but I'm trying to get to a safe place. Anyway, it should be kind of fun, folks. Everything's going to be okay. We all know it's going to be okay, right? Right? Yes. I'm going to have trouble playing Santa, though. You know, I mean, what do you tell the kids? Hey, kids, if you do really good and do really good choices, you may get the toy you want. But if you do really, really bad choices, awful choices, you'll be president someday. So, being it, it's the off night, and your host, Mark Sweetman, will be here. Join us right now.
Hey, everybody. Good to see everybody out there. Thanks for joining us on the off night. We're here on Monday nights, 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific time, and all the other time zones in between. I'm in our West Coast studio, a.k.a. my son's apartment. And, well, let's bring Andy back out here. We do a little chit-chat with Andy after the intro. There he is. Andy. Oh, man. You look like... you look like you're a from the old Ghoul show. You look like a
Hey over day.
Hey over day. AMRAP.
Hey, Froggy. Where's Froggy? I don't know.
Froggy. Yeah, that was a great show.
Thanks.
So anyway, since we talked last.
Yes.
We've elected a new president. That person will take office on January 20th. And of course, they'll have to confirm the vote before that. And of course, nothing will happen on that day because the guy who denies elections doesn't deny his own election. It's only the ones he loses that he denies. So
there you go. Yeah. He's a very interesting.
Anything going on with you before I bring Susan out for the poem?
What, me?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get into Canada. I made a lot of phone calls for the Democratic Party. I have to admit, maybe it was my fault because I found out I have an Eeyore personality. It's kind of like if you answer the phone and an Eeyore on the other side goes, Hi, I'm working for the Democratic Party. Do you want to vote this year?
Oh God! You mean they didn't train you to be? They didn't train you to have that up voice. Hey.
Yeah, well, I try to have the up voice, but I just kept getting hang up. No, he's not here anymore. No, wrong place. Yeah, so that was pretty much it. I did, but the last call I had, next to the last call I had, was Charlie Brown. Oh. And it was great. He was on. His answering machine was answered, but I have a feeling him and Linus may have been out working on going door to door. That's my information, I think.
Oh, okay.
Him with a towel, Snoopy on the backside. I like to think of that's what actually happened. Other than Charlie Brown being going to get a chiropractor service because Lucy pulled the ball out from him. But
yeah.
Other than that, speaking of balls, did you watch that ball game last night?
The Lions game?
The Lions?
As it turned out, I took my sons and my daughter-in-law to see Jay Leno last night.
Oh, how was Jay Leno?
We only saw the first half, so we came, and it was like 23-6 at halftime. So we turned it off and enjoyed a great comedy show. And then we got home and we found out that they won. So we watched the replays on YouTube. To watch them, and it was great watching it on YouTube because it's only like the highlights, so we only got to see the good stuff.
Exactly, that's how it.
And no commercials, so it's kind of nice.
Yeah, I usually listen to it on the radio while I'm driving and doing Uber. When I get back and watch the highlights, it's just the good stuff. So, on Blue.
Now I did
YouTube.
see I did see Sam's team earlier in the day take an L. We'll wait and talk to Sam about that. Anyway, let's get Susan out here because
All right.
she wrote a poem, as she always does. Those of you that are regulars to the show will know that my lovely bride Susan is also a poet. In fact, we were talking earlier today about how voluminous her poetry is. I mean, she just has tons of it. She's putting together an anthology and surprises herself
If you want to call
how
it
much
that.
she's written. Yeah. Anyway, here's Susan, and she always writes a poem about the stories that are in the news, and we kind of use it as our jumping point for our discussions. So I'm going to put Susan on solo view so that we just see Susan. And here's Susan with her weekly poem.
Hey,
All right.
hot off the presses. Here's your poem. Mattel is taking very angry parent calls. An unfortunate misprint on the box of Wicked Barbie dolls. Instead of the Wicked film and related info site, the box directed kids to porn in a typo misprint, right? And 43 monkeys sitting in a tree near a South Carolina research facility. 25 monkeys returned from the open air, and 2 more monkeys also returned to there. 16 monkeys still evade the scientists. Isn't it fun? Research monkeys can resist. Perhaps the monkeys heard the election result. Maybe we'd be better off in a research monkey cult. So congratulations, USA, you elected Trump. Sycophants surround him, brown noses on his rump. And that's your poem.
Oh, well, thank you very much. That was a nice poem. I really enjoyed that.
Nice. The monkeys escaped after the election results, so maybe they know something.
All right, before you get out of here, we always like to have Susan always likes to say hi to our other fellows that join us every week. Here's from New York City, the Lower East Side. Please welcome Sam Greenfield.
Hi, Sam.
Hey, Sammy. Well, I guess Sam had to take care of business. We'll get him out of there, and let's bring Jason out. Here comes Jason.
Hi, guys.
I'll wait until I see.
Hey,
until I see
Jason.
Sam up here.
Captain
I never
Kirk.
see-
Thank you for the
There he is.
poem. That's me on a grinder date.
Everybody have a nice Halloween. Let's
You
go
too
back.
now.
Go back in our way back machine to before the election. Remember Halloween?
I do. Well,
You
Hold
watch
on.
any
Not that-
horror films?
I am. My life is a horror film, so I don't need to see any further cinematography on the subject there. It looks like Andy's in his house now.
Okay. I put a
Oh,
horror
yeah.
film on, but then I realized it was election results.
Well,
But I'm fun.
That's good. I like that one.
you guys are just trying to get me to jump in here with both feet, aren't you? Okay.
Is Sam joining us then, or did he
He'll
leave?
be.
He'll be back.
I think.
Well, Jason, you're the only one I think that was probably delighted with the results. Although, if you lived in my district, let's see, is there another Republican that won? I don't think another Republican won that I voted for. So.
Well, Mark, if there's something here that might make you and I feel a little bit like we have some common ground, well, yes, I did appreciate the national result. The victory is capped by a wonderful, delightful icing in that Mike Rogers was defeated for Senate in Michigan. Because
No, hold on before you go on. Before I get you to go on about Mike Rogers, let's get Sam out here.
Okay.
We'll have to familiarize him a little bit with who Mike Rogers is.
I know who Mike Rogers is.
Oh, okay. All right.
Carpetbagging parvenu political scumbag that should be cast into the gulch of eternal peril and buried underneath the love canal on a good
The
day.
guy who beat Sherrod Brown makes Mike Rogers look like Everett Dirksen. Okay.
You know, Mike Rogers.
A fucking used car salesman whose slogan was Tariff Schmariff. So.
Well, no, that's
Mike Rogers lost his. Mike Rogers lost his congressional seat. They both had the same seat. He lost it to Alyssa Slotkin, and then they both ran for Senate, and she beat him in the Senate race too. But the seat that he had that she took over and flipped to Democrat got flipped back to the Republicans. So now they're ahead of us 7-6 in Michigan.
Well,
all my seats stayed with the incumbent party.
On the west side of the state, we have one of the families that are running one of the longest running Ponzi schemes in world history, right up there with the British royal family. And they have exercised, and they have exercised undue influence on the Republican Party in this state for generations now. And it's why we can't elect anybody statewide. And it's because the candidates they put up are retarded. And I shouldn't say that because it's mean to retarded people to compare some of the idiots that they routinely trot before the electorate. And you know, we don't get a senator like Senator Griffin anymore. You don't. You don't even get, you know, you had Democrats like Levin and Regal, damn good senators for this state, very good senators for this state. The last senator we had that was Republican was Spence Abraham.
He didn't last very long.
The very vortex of suck is Spence Abraham, and I have nothing but contempt for leaders.
I got a question
your
for
listeners
Jason.
are changing channels now, Mark.
I know.
Why?
I don't know. I mean,
why? This is engaging
Sam,
conversation.
how was your Halloween? I wanted to go way back before the election.
Well, my Halloween started off a little differently because I was reported by one of the next door neighbors because I opened the door, I said to this kid, "You want some candy? You want something sweet? Want something sweet in your mouth, do you? Want something sweet from Daddy?"
Man.
You are a bad man. You're going straight to hell.
Yeah, but I'm a Jew, so we'll put in air conditioning.
And we'll have cake.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Oh, by the way, I want you to know that I lost someone who was a tangential friend because of the election. I tried to explain to this Yutz that if we bring tariffs in like Trump does, we will pay more for everything because the money that we goes to we pay more.
Yeah.
And his response was, Trump says you can't prove that. I said, listen to me carefully. You're an idiot. I don't ever want to talk to you again. You're dumber than I thought you were. And your wife is sleeping with a moron. If you find out who he is, you're really going to be upset. And then I hung up.
It's true, though. Tariffs will bring in higher prices. You pass those costs on to your customer.
The money goes to his friends. He doesn't give a shit.
Yeah.
The money goes to his. And by the way, if you're listening to this show and that makes you want to turn the dial, then you're an idiot.
So when do you think that the political opponent hit squad will start to work?
Soon.
On
when
day
one?
When
the IQ of America goes up. Jimmy, let me just make this one point about it, okay? Think about the Puerto Ricans. Donald Trump threw rolls of towels at Puerto Ricans after the hurricane, right? Donald Trump had a comedian who called Puerto Ricans garbage. Donald Trump referred to them as his taco-eating friends, and he carried the Puerto Rican demographic. So you tell me what chance we have.
Well, let's not forget that Mike Wallace, who donated a very nice house at the University of Michigan and endowed a journalism program here at the University of Michigan, and also got together the first $1 billion trust fund for the University of Michigan, was also castigated for saying things like, well, I don't know how they can read their contracts through all these tacos and lettuces that are in the way. I mean,
well, I think
that's Mike Wallace, 60 Minutes, that guy.
I had to explain the difference between facts and opinions to somebody who believes in Donald Trump. And that was something that people should have learned the difference between a fact and an opinion. You learn that like what, third grade?
Why did you go to the trouble?
It is a fact that Donald Trump has 34 felony convictions. It is opinion of some people in support of him that, oh, they're all going to be overturned in an appeal. Until that happens, that's an opinion. It's a fact that we've elected.
Susan, I'm aware of the fact that you are now trying to tell me the difference between a fact and an opinion, and I resent it. Okay, you don't have to explain it to me, Susan. My IQ is 158. Explain it to the numbnuts who live in your state.
That's what I said. I had to explain it.
No, you actually did that. I had to explain the difference, and then you went, the fact that you don't have to tell me. Tell those yutzes that live in your state, and screw those youpers. You hear me?
Well, I have, and they're actually pretty wild in bed once you get them liquored up enough. But never mind that.
I need to say something. I need to say something about the idiots in our state. I need to say something about the idiots in our state. When Trump is not on the ballot, and even when he was on the ballot this time, he doesn't have coattails. He didn't win. He won his race. Everything else he's supported since 2016, except for him, has lost here. We got marijuana passed. We got abortion passed. We got all the things that the Democrat. We've basically flipped the houses in the Senate and the state house and the governorship.
You got rid of gerrymandering.
We got rid of gerrymandering. We did all of this stuff, and these were things that were anti-MAGA. And the only one that ever wins in except for this seat that I mentioned, flipped back to the Republicans that we took back when Slotkin won.
Well, Mark, let me ask a serious question. It's not a trap or nothing. I'm dead serious. In this state, 2 years ago, we enshrined into the state constitution an abortion amendment, which pretty much allows abortion pretty much right up to the 9th month. For better or worse, that's the law of the land in the state of Michigan. Why did the Harris campaign spend so much money absolutely demagoguing on this issue of abortion, saying he's about to take your rights away? He can't do that in this state. There are other issues, don't you think, that she could have addressed that would have been more salient and things that the people in the state might have wanted to voted for her for? What do you think?
Maybe in Michigan, but not nationwide. And she was running nationwide.
It's a state by state campaign.
I just don't think we can call. I don't think we can call Michigan voters yahoos or yutzes or anything like that.
Yeah.
When they pass all
I'm
this
just talking to the yutz she was talking to, and I
was she was speaking to the entire nation. I really think she expected to get the women's vote, and pretty much.
Expecting any vote is a mistake.
I think that Uncle Bernie had the best statement, and I wish I had his quote in front of me, but he paraphrased it. Like, if we've been, taking away from our demographic, for so long, not supporting our demographic, we shouldn't expect them to support us, or something to that effect.
Bernie Sanders nailed it.
Yeah.
Bernie Sanders and I disagree entirely on how to get where we want to go, but we both agree on the destination. That's why I could do business with a Bernie Sanders.
Yes.
Because at least we both agree that we both want to get to the same place. Different ways of doing it, but he's a savvy, smart man. And all these people who said that he's too old, listen to the man. He's not.
Yeah, was he older than Trump is now?
I don't.
4 years ago?
Oh, he's 10 years older than Trump.
Whatever.
Okay.
He's got his shit together. He does.
Yeah.
Say what you will about the man guy. Howard Dean, again, we're beating a long dead horse, but Howard Dean, who was pushed aside so that plank of wood, John F. Kerry, could be run. Howard Dean had one moment that they absolutely blew out of the water. And again, I disagree with how we get there, but his ideas of what the destination were spot on. Howard Dean was a smart guy running a smart campaign. And because he had one slightly off night in Iowa, he gets nudged out of the way for Kerry? Really?
Let me say something else, okay? Why was anybody in the Democratic Party listening to George Clooney? Anybody?
Money.
No, I know
money,
why.
Money.
I know it was a rhetorical question. But my point is, Thank you for your Oscar. Thank you
Yeah.
for your coffee commercials.
Give
Thank
us your
you.
money.
Now
give
go
us your
back
money
to
and
your
shut the
shitty
fuck
movies.
exactly and shut the fuck up.
Yeah, but you
Sam?
know, I don't think he's the one that pushed Biden out, right?
No, that was
clean-
Nancy Pelosi.
Well, Sam,
I know,
you and I,
but nobody was taking it seriously until Clooney said something about having
right?
Biden
Well,
at his
he
fundraiser,
was the sock puppet that was dangled out in front, you know. But Sam,
Yeah.
and Mark, you even asked this just after the first assassination attempt on Trump, and Mark, you asked very, very salient, very, very useful question. Does this mean that we're going to stop attacking Biden, who at the time was in a little bit of a shitstorm because of the first debate? And Sam and I both said, no, you have to unify behind this candidate now.
Mm-hmm.
And I still think that I believed it then. I believe it now. And I think that if they'd done that, there'd have been maybe a different outcome. Maybe you had to choose a different vice presidential candidate. Maybe bring Gavin Newsom in so that people could vote for Biden with more confidence.
Let me say this about what you just stated. I just saw Joe Biden a couple of weeks ago, obviously, voting. Okay.
Yeah.
He walked haltingly.
Yep.
He walked unsteadily.
Yep.
You know, and I'm just no. I think, and by the way, she crushed Trump in the debate. She crushed him,
and it didn't matter.
No, it did not matter. What mattered was that you have a demographic, a whole nation of people. Okay, when he says that the economy has never been in. Let me put this another way. The economy has never been in better shape than it is right now.
Yeah.
It's in great shape.
Yeah.
It's in wonderful shape. But he gets up and says, the economy's the worst it's ever been. And people go, Sorry, you can't stop stupid.
Well,
Yeah.
You can't stop it.
and the thing is, they didn't put out any ads or anything that explained what was taking place with the inflation. I mean,
they didn't stop anything.
The Republicans kept talking about the chicken, and it's like, I'm like, that's from bird flu, for crying out loud.
No, they didn't do anything like that.
The same people who
they didn't
don't
let her
understand
say-
tariffs are not going to understand inflation. They're not going to
but
understand
the very
Yes, they will
basic
understand
things.
inflation.
The very
Oh, yes,
basic
they will.
Things like, I wasn't president, okay? I was vice president. I didn't formulate these policies. Donald Trump is a lying, racist jackass. Just say it. What is he not going to like you?
That's
Just
what
say it.
happens. That's what happens when you copy paste a candidate in with 100 days instead of going through an open primary. Because Democrat primaries have always been tough, but the winner who comes out the other end is well suited for the national campaign.
Yeah.
And you know that.
I think the bottom line is, though, that we have a very sexist country, and it's very difficult for a woman to run. I think she ran a good campaign. Things could have been done differently, but hindsight's always 20/20. I don't think that you can point to any one thing that she did wrong.
No.
You know, when you're in that moment with, like you said, 100 days, it wasn't enough time, and we have a very sexist country. To get a woman elected, you would think two very qualified women up against that clown couldn't win. So it's a man's world. I've been saying that my entire life, and it's really true.
And yet you make more money than I do.
I think that it was Voltaire. I think it was Voltaire who said, "Bitches be acting funny." So, I guess,
No.
I think Obama also pointed out in a speech.
You got it mixed up with Sinbad.
The Democrats don't do enough
I'm
to
sorry.
try and talk to these people.
Man, you take your women shopping, you might as well bop yourself in the head.
Trump,
Now,
when
if
he
we
actually
could get
put out
Oprah to
that
run,
Boston
maybe
Starship.
she'd be
put his name
electable.
on the checks, and that's what caused the people. You know, when I'm driving people around, and you ask them why you voted for Trump, man, he gave me a check. And
listen,
said,
my wife and I
Democrats should start.
My wife and I were
telling
in Punta
people.
Cana, and this woman said to me, "Did you know that because of Donald Trump, I saved
Mark's taking a call.
$150?"
Let's
And I
listen.
said, "That's $3 a week.
Did you get my
That's
message?
$3 a week. That's 40 cents a day.
Yeah.
What'd you spend it on?
I
Gum?
don't know, 6 o'clock.
Yeah, ditzy turd."
But that's
Hey,
it.
Mark,
They
you're live.
look at the name. They think that's how you know. It's just simple things like that he did that made him connect with these people who are very, not well educated.
If you guys would quit holding the American populace in contempt,
Yeah.
you might do a little better job with them. You have in the past.
Yeah.
Democrats have won in the past. I might remind you. I
the
might
posters-
remind you
the
that
posters
President
about this, there was
Obama.
just two things in the poster. One will help inflation. Two will block off the border. That's all they said.
I think that inflation is one of those things that is to the American public what DNA was to the O.J. Simpson trial. They don't understand it. No, they don't understand it. They don't get it. They don't know what it means. And if you tell them that inflation is under 3%, they go, "Oh, well, what'd that mean? Huh?"
No, well, I mean, are we talking about the growth of the money supply anywhere from M5 to M1 to M5? We no longer use M2, which is actually a measure that should be reinstated because it is a measure of both the checkable liquid assets as well as the other tradable assets that are in banks, short-term notes. I mean, you want to tell me, because again, my degrees are in economics, specifically the economic history of the United States. And I can tell you that inflation and deflation are the two forces that are always destabilizing. We had inflation through the 70s, deflation through the 30s because of our adherence to the gold standard.
The gold standard, right?
Yes, because that decreased the money supply. It also changed the speculative habits of folks. So while they couldn't change currency, they could trade stock. And when suddenly we realized that was a great big tulip auction, the whole goddamn thing went off a cliff, and our dear friends, the Republicans, working in concert with a few Democrats, passed a tariff law that ended up causing a worldwide recession that we now remember as the Great Depression. It's crazy. Inflation is a real thing, folks. I'm making more money than I've ever made, and yet it does not go anywhere near as far as it used to.
And ask yourself, why did the stock market go through the roof after he was elected?
Yeah.
Again, it's a tulip. It's a tulip auction. You know that.
Well, then also ask you this: why did the price of gas suddenly go down after the election?
It's because it is based on the speculative cost of
fill
replacement.
up and flee.
Because gasoline is manufactured on a 3 to 7 day time scale, and it is based upon the replacement cost, the speculative replacement cost to put more gas in the tank. The same thing goes with diesel. It is a commodity. It is not always the best indicator of long-term or even short-term.
How does Ellen Green feel about this?
How does who feel? Indicator of the deep state. So, if you want to get inflation and keep inflation, keep raising the price of oil.
Yeah, that will do the trick.
And if you want to drill, baby, drill, then you keep the inflation up until the drill, baby, drill.
No, not necessarily. If you drill, baby, drill, you'll add a commodity input that will drive down prices in the mid and long run.
We're talking.
By the way, am I the only one who's disturbed by the fact that Donald Trump Jr. is helping pick the cabinet? This is a friend of mine, Todd. We used to do Kagers at M State. Say hi, Todd. Whatever. Where's the burl?
Yeah. So this the client the
Secretary
cabinet
of
is going to be
bitches.
basically every Greek guy you've ever seen and hated all your life.
Well, I mean, we haven't had serious people in politics since Clark Clifford. So, what do you want me to tell you? I mean, I'm right.
But Donald Trump Jr. is Guy de Maupassant next to anybody. I mean, please, you got to be kidding me.
Oh my God. Would that make our present First Lady the Madame Defarge of the Biden administration?
No, you can't be Madame Defarge if you can't spell Madame Defarge.
Hey, she's a doctor.
You see how far away she was from Trump when he's like standing on the thing? Like, she never hugged him, never even gave him.
Would you? Would you?
No, you're just kind of like, what hell have I brought myself into again?
Listen,
another 4 years of this.
Listen, every time she hugs him, the next thing out of her mouth is makeup. Okay, so. innocent in
Well,
the same room.
You know, I mean, political fortunes come and go. Don't forget that Eisenhower won in 1956. He worked with Democrats to get the National Defense Highway Act passed through and several other acts. And in 1960, Jack Kennedy and the Democrats came to power. And in 1964, LBJ won one of the biggest elective mandates in American political history.
Do you ever? Let me ask you guys a question. Do you ever read a thing on Facebook called Quora? Quora?
I've heard of it. I don't think I've run across it.
Try to get it, because what happens is people write in with questions. Okay. And I'm reading this now, and this is two of the things I came away with, which I didn't know. Number one, that that JFK was a detestable human being.
Well, we knew that.
Which I didn't know. I didn't know he was detestable.
Oh, God.
And two, that he was deathly ill for most of his adult life.
Yeah, Addison's disease.
Right.
Yeah, it was horrifying. Yeah. I mean, look at his father. His father lobotomized, not Rosemary. He lobotomized his own daughter, namely to shut her up because he'd been in there tapping her. I mean, the Kennedys are loathsome, but name me a political family that isn't a little bit on. You want the Bushes again? I mean, dear God, there should be a constitutional amendment saying a Bush shall not hold elective office for 1,000
You want to know a
generations.
family? You want to know a family, an American family that was not detestable?
The Millicans.
The Nixons.
The Nixons, yeah, they were good. Same thing goes for oh gosh, what is it? I love the Cuomos because it's like the best Italian soap opera ever. You know, I mean Mario and his sons, and I still think the former governor might end up as your mayor. Uh-oh.
Everything's fine.
Okay. Is that a proof of life thing? She's not going to disappear in a few days, and you're going to say, "No, we heard her on the podcast."
I had to take the thing out of the bedroom.
That's okay.
Okay. How'd it go tonight?
But I can give you a different one. Mine's not.
How'd it go tonight?
Hold on.
Barbara went to an open mic tonight.
Oh, really?
Oh. Which room?
It's a room in Brooklyn, I presume.
Yeah, this one was in.
How'd it go?
Astor Square.
Yes,
It's good.
It was good. Yay, Barbara.
But,
Hey, what are open mics like in New York? Same thing like everywhere else?
That's a question for you, Barbara.
What?
What are open mics like in New York?
This was all women, so it was good.
Cool.
There you go.
There you go.
Is that a closer?
I wish Susan had stuck around to hear that.
Oh man.
Good answer.
You know, I want you to hear me. She was going very well in her comedy career until she had cancer, and it killed her career. And I've been begging her to go back because she's funny. So this is a big deal for her. She doesn't talk about it, but it's a big deal.
Good.
Even though I've told her, listen, don't take this the wrong way, but you have no fucking shot. No. Not a snowball's chance in a microwave. So just,
We should all get out there. We should all get out there and hit likes on all of her shows and all of her posts.
Yes, exactly.
Delusional. There we go.
Oh dear. Well, other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, how was the play?
I need to go to Lincoln's last words. I need to go to this like I need a hole in the ow.
Well, I got something for you. My hometown of Howell. They were doing the Anne Frank show.
Oh
and
God, no! Don't! Oh no!
As a musical.
Oh no! Oh,
and apparently, a series of people dressed in Nazi outfits decided to protest it.
Oh,
Well, that's
oh my
Howell.
God.
Welcome to
How do
Michigan.
you protest Anne Frank? Oh my God!
I don't know. I don't know
In
what
Nazi
it was in
outfits,
the
evidently.
Detroit News, and I don't know
What else
exactly
would
what
you
it was.
wear to an Anne Frank protest but Nazi outfits? Come on. Come on. That is the the proper regalia for such an
I'm
event.
just wondering, is there any way to get like your hometown off your back? And is there any way I could lie about that was my hometown? Is that possible?
I just wouldn't mention it.
Okay. All right. Leave it off. Leave it off.
Well, you know, when someone says to me, you know, maybe your hometown's not that great. Where are you from? I go, Washington, D.C., the nerd center of the Western world.
There we go. Okay. Expand it out. All right.
And so when I first said that, someone said to me, the nerd center of the Western world. Get the fuck out of here. Just stop it. I said, I'm sorry, but Albany was taken.
There's pictures of me on the football team, you know? There's pictures of me on the wrestling team.
All they had to do was not move. And Washington wins yesterday. Just don't move. But they had this rookie tackle.
Yep.
And he went, and the kid, and he jumped. And that was the end. However, I must say, they're 7-3. So, you know.
Oh, yeah. They're brutal. They're a team to be watched.
I'll tell you who I feel bad for, really bad for. Caleb Williams, the quarterback.
They haven't had their bye yet.
That poor kid is in hell.
Oh, wow. Well, he's the quarterback for the Bears, right?
He was sacked. You ready for this?
What?
He was sacked 9 times yesterday. The New England Patriots, before that game, had over the course of this season had 7 sacks. He was sacked 9 times. And you know what's going to happen? It's going to destroy his confidence.
Yeah.
Well, at least he didn't throw 5 interceptions. I mean, hold on, never mind. It worked out for us.
Well, he's gonna be our guy on Thanksgiving Day. So Chicago, we're playing Chicago Thanksgiving Day.
Oh, that's
right.
Yeah. Oh, is he really? That poor kid.
Yeah. National TV. Sorry.
Oh, God. Well, listen. But on the other hand,
well, remember what Jordan Love did? Jordan Love played on Thanksgiving Day, his first time.
This is the first time, and you can correct me. This is the first time in recent memory when the Lions are playing on as they always do on Thanksgiving Day, and I'm thinking, well, you can notch this up as a W.
Well, we thought that last year against the at the time the pathetic Green Bay Packers, and turned out no, not so much. You know, their quarterback caught fire, and
this is a different season. This is a different season.
Sam, I'm a Lions fan. You guys have at least had a Super Bowl or 2 or 3. We are Lions. We're still waiting for the disaster.
Do you know why it's a different season? Do you know why it's a different season? When the guy put the football through the uprights, it wasn't like each one of them was like inches from the post. Last year we would have hit that post both times.
True.
This year, no. So there's some sort of like spiritual thing happening now that's allowing us to move forward.
Let me ask you guys a question. Let's say in the next game, excuse me, I don't know who they're playing, but let's say in the next game, Kansas City loses 37-3.
Ooh.
Does that do anything to their confidence?
No.
No.
Mark?
No, not Kansas City. Not
Okay.
Kansas City. Kansas City is a great team.
Yeah.
I know that.
If they lose,
but 37-3
they lose
is
37-3. They had a bad game. It happens to everybody. They're still a great
If
team.
they lose to the Jets, it might be a problem, but yeah.
If they lose to the Jets, they're going to go on the open market.
Well, yeah. We play, I think, the Jaguars next time.
You know, I watched this show called Pardon the Interruption on Sports Center. And Mike Wilbon, who's like he's a great writer and a good commentator, but he's a get off my lawn kind of guy. But he said something that's true. He said, I want to say this right now. I am sick to death of hearing about the Cowboys. They're not good. They haven't been good. They're not going to be good next year. And the reason is because the owner of the team is the general manager, and he doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't have any idea what he's doing. He's been the general manager forever. Okay. And he does not know what he's doing. And that team will never be in a Super Bowl again. And I agree with this.
Yeah.
As long as he's managing the team. But I don't know if you know the value of that team. It's like it's $2 billion.
Wow.
The TV, the media contracts are amazing these
The media
days.
contracts and the stadium itself is stunning.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, it's gorgeous, but it stuns me. I mean, this guy pays, you know, Dak, what's his name? Dak
Prescott?
Prescott, $60 million a year. He's a good quarterback. He's not great.
Uh-huh.
He's not great. He's not in the top 5.
But
He's
you
not.
see,
He's not Goff.
but when
He's
you
not,
have a
he's,
bad
he's not.
quarterback,
He's not Mahomes.
Mm-hmm.
if you're in the top 10 though, I mean, if you're a bad quarterback, look what you're driving people away. I mean, there is sort of that tipping point where either you're bringing people in or you're forcing them out. Barry Sanders back in the day, people used to go to watch, even if the Lions lost, they still went to watch Barry
Because
Sanders
of his
play
brilliance.
ball. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my
You
God.
know,
But let me also say this in as an opposing point, ladies and gentlemen, I give you Daniel Jones,
God.
$40 million a year.
Well,
You know.
yeah, you know.
You know who I'd like to be? I'd like to be Jaden Daniels' agent.
Well, any of these agents, you know, they're all getting their percentage right off the top.
You know what I found out? I don't know if you know this is true. The agent, excuse me, the agents for these for these guys, they don't get 10%. They get 7.
Well, that's still good money.
But they don't get 15 or 6. Well, a manager gets 15, but they don't get. They get 7. But it's 7% of 40 million.
Yeah, which is not bad. I mean, that's
not bad.
Not bad. Not bad. I'll take it. Oh,
my
God.
father had this saying. I said, Dad, it's only $5 million. He says, yeah, it's not bad if you say it fast.
Oh my God. Oh Jesus. Yeah.
Is that the pillow guy?
That is. I wanted to have him behind me just once to see what you guys would say.
Pillow guy. That's the pillow guy.
That's the pillow guy. You know, when I die and go to hell, he's going to be there, and I'm going to find out that I'm cast in a series of Kirk Cameron movies, and it's oh my God, it's not going to work out.
I can see the ad campaign now. buy this, and I'll bite your pillow for you.
Exactly. You know, here's the guy who came to Jesus after having a Mexican trucker bukkake outside of a truck stop in El Segundo, and now he's one of the top supporters of El Presidente.
Well, he may be, but he's kind of like, he's kind of like the guy Trump. Trump is like saying, "Get him away from me." Just get him.
Cash the check. Tell him I'm busy. You know.
By the way, where there's a little. I love this expression. Contretemps going on is between Musk and Trump.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They're not as friendly as they used to be.
No,
what happened?
You're two massive super egos, two malignant narcissists like both of those guys are. You know that can't work out for great lengths of time.
Especially because Trump knows that Musk can buy him.
Well, sure. He bought what was it? He bought Twitter for $44 billion.
Talk about a loss leader. Jesus.
Oh my God. You know,
I mean, you know the old expression, you have to go to the ass store and buy one to work that off. Oh my God.
I don't, I don't mind rich being rich. I genuinely don't. That's fine. There's abundance in the world. And that's
make
a good
the money.
thing.
Yeah, sure.
But, and the thing is, and this is something where Bernie Sanders and I are sort of in an agreement. When I was 18, 19 years old, guys, and now granted this was like another millennium ago. I think Pharaoh was in charge. But I worked as a dishwasher and had full medical care plus dental. Yeah, I was making minimum wage, and minimum wage was only $3 and change. But I had full medical care.
Yeah.
We can't, and yet, here I am working now, and no, I mean, I got to pay for all the medical care, and okay, at least I got something. But think about that. My dad working in the assembly line. That's a big deal.
That's a big deal.
My dad working in assembly line. We were able to afford Mark, you grew up in the same area. I did the same thing as you.
Yeah.
Decent house, nothing fancy, 3 bedrooms, a yard. You know, I mean, sure, sometimes the basement would have someone in the sub basement who had been trying to sell cookies, but that was their problem. You know, but
Our
but
first
other than
house, our first house that Susan and I bought was $17,800, and most of the people in my neighborhood were barely out of high school and worked jobs like gas station attendant and car wash employee, things like that. And you were able to buy a house. I was a comic. I was able to buy a house. You know,
People sold shoes. People sold shoes at a department store. They could buy a house.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, a real house. Detroit had an educational system that was the envy of the Western world. You could get a high school diploma from a Detroit tech school and go to work for the big three and retire doing well. Now, for all my slavish adherence to nostalgia, which comes from the Latin meaning to rip or to tear flesh, is it really so awful that I might want to return to that kind of a normalcy?
Yeah.
I don't think so. You know, it doesn't mean that the abundance that I demand has to come at the expense of others. But I'm seeing a lot of people at the top who are more fabulously rich than even Cleopatra from beyond the grave would be like, wow, you're really pushing it, honey.
It's all about hedge funds.
Well, that's true.
They're playing
like
with
to
money
laugh.
that's not theirs.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
They're
At a
playing
very
with
high
money that
level.
they can never pay back.
Yes. And if it goes south, they don't go to prison. I mean, if I go in and steal a bunch of money, I go to jail. But if these guys lose billions of dollars and destroy Western civilization, they demand their bonuses. Instead of, if there was true justice, they'd be made to work in a wine shop in Gary, Indiana.
I had a friend who worked at Chrysler. He was a vice president of production at Chrysler. And he told me once, I said, what's your average day like? And he said, all right, well, I get up, eat breakfast. I go to work. I punch in. I went, you punch in? He said, yes. I said, you have a time card? He goes, yeah. I said, you're a vice president and he said, yeah, everybody does. And that stunned me.
Yeah. Nucor Steel is like that.
That sounds. That's pretty much Michigan. Everywhere I've worked, everybody punched in.
Yeah.
The owners punched in.
I remember, Mark, you telling me that before you and Susan had started a family, you were living in Detroit in a place that sounded actually kind of nice, and it wasn't costing you a freaking arm and a leg. You were able to do your thing, and I feel bad because the kids these days, say what you will, man, but a lot of them are like, well, we'll never be able to afford a house. The house
that's correct.
In my neighborhood that I grew up in, where everything ran between $25,000 and $35,000, is $250,000 to $450,000.
Yeah.
If you're lucky.
$400,000 for a house that I used to buy weed from the weird dude in the basement. I mean,
well, the whole FDR system was set up to help people be able to maintain or be in a middle class existence.
Yeah,
and you were able to do that through the military, and they had been gotten used to it, and they brought their whole thing over. And it was like, then they had the GI Bill, was all government sponsored stuff. And it was
worked.
Part of the GI Bill.
But it worked.
And it worked. It was great.
It worked.
But then you get into the sort of you got these people at the top saying like, well, we can't afford this. Who can't afford this? Every other nation in the world can afford at least some aspect of socialism.
Oh, and let's get back to something we talked. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, Sam. You
let's go back to something we talked about 35 minutes ago. There are presidents of countries in Europe, and those presidents are women. And it's not a big deal. No one makes a big deal about it.
Well, I mean, Indira Gandhi,
Poland, India.
Susan was talking about,
Pakistan.
a sexist country.
Pakistan had a president.
Benazir Bhutto.
Yeah.
Although she and her daddy shared a similar fate, so to speak. Well, she was blown up. He was hung. And not only that, he was executed.
So I've heard.
Yeah, well.
You know how those
Pakistan.
I heard he liked to curry favor with the cheerleaders.
But I'm going to say that you need Merkel. You need a woman that looks like Merkel to become president. You don't need a beauty queen. You don't need, you need somebody who just looks like a mom. That's what you need.
If
And
Hillary Clinton had just had a competent campaign manager, she would be in her last 100 days or whatever.
You are so right. The guy who he hired, that Putz.
Yes.
And
was it Podesta? I think was it John Podesta?
No. It was Mark Penn.
Oh, okay. Well, it was complete. And the guy should be in prison for arrogance, for terminal arrogance.
Well, frankly, if she hadn't messed with Bernie Sanders, if she hadn't messed with him, they would have had those votes.
Maybe put him on the ticket. Maybe have him as her vice president.
I'll tell you something about that. I interviewed Mark Penn. I think his name was Mark Penn. I interviewed him, and they always have these field offices people, and and his field office people said, "Listen, Mr. Penn wants you to know that he will not talk about anything to do with the campaign." I go, "Say that to me again."
Why? Why would you? My God.
And she said, "Well, I said, why do you think he's on the show? Why do you think? Do you think I want to discuss standard deviations with him? I know statistics. Why do you think I want to talk about the campaign?" "Well, he won't talk about it." I said, "Well, then there's no interview."
Right.
And let me ask him. I said, no. Tell him this. Just tell him this. If he won't talk about the campaign, I don't want to talk to him. See what he says.
Right. Just like
and
Bob.
You know what happened? He killed it.
Yeah.
So I went on the air and I said, I was supposed to interview Mark Penn, who was campaign manager for Hillary Clinton, but he doesn't want to talk about the campaign, which is kind of like having Willie Mays on, and he doesn't want to talk about basket catches.
Yeah. Sam, do you remember going all the way back to 2000, Al Gore's campaign?
2000? Do I remember 2000? Are you kidding? I remember Wagons Ho.
Al Gore, Bob Shrum ran Al Gore's campaign, and he was just a brick. He was just, and when he lost the campaign, went on Letterman's show, was funnier than hell, deadpan, had him laughing, and it's like if you had put that Al Gore out there, that would have won.
Al Gore talking about people are at home watching it, going, "What is a lockbox? What is he talking?"
Well, look, that's because he's the son of a senator. The Gores have owned Tennessee for generations. His father he worked with Eisenhower to do. I mean, so they speak in a certain verbiage that they understand because that's the world they live in. Mm-hmm. But if they just let the Al Gore kind of loose a little bit, your story about JFK, which is so apropos, the miners saying, "Well, I hear you've never worked a day in your life." Because that's true. I've never worked a day in my life, and just that bit of honesty when he says, "Brother, you ain't missing a goddamn thing."
That's right.
People can appreciate that. I don't need my politicians to have worked in a cannery. It might be nice, but I need them to enact policy. And if that's what they do, and if that's
as much credit as Tim Walz is getting for being such a great VP candidate, he wasn't.
No,
he wasn't.
They should have took the Jewish governor from Pennsylvania, and I point out that he's Jewish.
He was a firebrand.
Because that guy would have been good for the ticket, and
he would have torn Vance a new rear end.
He certainly would have at least it would have been an interesting debate. You bet. Yeah.
Every time Vance was talking, Walz looked at him like I'm from the mob and you owe me money. He had this intense anger look on his face.
Yeah, he had that. Yeah, he looked like the angry guy. Like that angry puppet, that guy that Dunham had.
He really did. He just looked all pissed off.
Yeah.
Someone said Waltz looks like a guy who's doing a clown routine without the makeup. And,
oh, man. By the way, speaking of Al Gore, what's ever happened to Tipper?
He passed away.
I like Tipper.
Oh, God.
Oh, she passed away?
No.
She passed away. Yeah, Tipper Gore passed away. Hold on.
Yeah, she did a couple
She
years
died?
back. Yeah.
Yes.
No.
Yeah, she's gone.
Yeah,
I got to send her family a card. Are you guys serious? She died?
I think so.
No, Sam, we're kidding.
No, but Andy, you're right.
Mark goes to the source.
If Hillary Clinton had made nice with Bernie, she wins.
Yeah.
70,000 votes over 3 states is all she needed to win.
I'm corrected. Tipper Gore is still alive. I'm sorry.
Oh dear,
Oh,
but just
well,
but
gee.
just barely, I mean,
Well,
you
she's
know,
like 75.
kind of like
76.
Zsa Zsa Gabor, who I think they still have her head alive somewhere.
Mm.
You know, I think the rest of Zsa Zsa is gone.
Wait. Hold on for a minute. If Tipper Gore is still alive, I still have a shot.
Yeah. There you go.
Don't tell the missus that though. You don't want her.
Are you kidding? Are you kidding? She would deliver me to her. Are you kidding? In a station wagon, going, "He's all yours."
Yeah.
I hope you like filth.
But I kind of think that Steinbeck had the way or the reasoning why Trump got his clientele.
Steinbeck?
Steinbeck, a quote by Steinbeck.
Oh, a quote by
Says-
Steinbeck. Oh.
He said that America will never go to socialism because they all believe they're all going to be rich.
What a
And
great
that's-
line.
Yeah.
Well, socialism does
that
not work,
clicks in-
and that's
that
why we
clicks
don't
into the
go
whole
towards
mentality.
it.
What's that?
There are. Sorry, go ahead, Mark.
No, go ahead, Jason.
I'm just saying we'll never go to socialism because socialism innately does not work. There are things that we have to do collectively. We sort of give up life since we don't live in a state of nature, but the very elements of socialism are based in envy and in all manner of things that
There
does
is no
not
more
work. It
failed
will never
system.
work.
There is no more failed system than communism.
No.
No more failed.
Yeah.
Let me get this right. I work 1 hour a day.
Yeah.
You work 8 hours a day, and we get paid the same. What? How?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah,
No.
they pretend to pay us and we pretend to work. That doesn't mean, but like for instance, when Bernie or other people are talking about healthcare, I don't believe in socialized medicine, but I do believe that the poor people need access. They need to have healthcare. You cannot have an impoverished population without medical care. It is a bad
But
thing.
I'm talking about Norway. I'm talking about
They're
Sweden.
not socialists.
I'm talking about
They are not socialists. In fact, if you go and look at it, you'll find those countries are actually very pro-capitalist. They do have certain retirement and entitlement systems, but they are fairly small. And by the way, those people don't mind paying taxes, such that it provides for their systems. And oh yes, there's rich
Not
people
only
in
that,
Sweden
not only
and
that,
Norway.
but when they pay, let's say 50% of their money, 50% of their money goes to the government. Okay.
Yeah.
They don't pay for their Harvard. They don't. Their Harvard is free.
Right.
Whatever the best school in Sweden is, it's free.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's $160,000 that mom and dad aren't paying for. So yump and yiminy. I mean, that's
Well, it's
fantastic.
But their schools aren't easy to get into either. You do have to.
No, they're not.
perform. You.
But
I mean,
every school in Sweden is free. Every
there's
school.
There's
Yeah.
one school that I've always wanted to go to is McGill University in Canada because they have one of the best international law programs on earth.
Oh, that's a
And
great school.
It is. Oh my God! And it would be the only thing Satan himself could say. You can go to McGill or become the coach of a middle school basketball team. Either one would be very tempting. Hold on, maybe I've said too much. At any rate, I would love to go to McGill. I'll just say that.
Oh, you and your middle school.
Well, you know, you were
Coach.
there once, Sam.
Mom, why does the coach keep saying, "Could you pass me the balls"?
Yeah.
It's just one ball.
Well, I'm gonna be flying the sleigh soon. I have to go and talk to the kids.
It's 8:59, everybody.
All right.
Yeah,
you
that's
guys
what the
have- I'm
that's
glad-
why the music is slowly going up here.
I'm glad you guys
I
got
won't be
through this.
seeing you for a while. I won't be
Oh yeah,
back
Andy's
for-
going to be out playing Santa Claus here for the next few weeks. So
Yeah.
Andy,
I won't
we'll
be
see
back.
you again after the new year.
When are you
Yeah,
coming back,
I
Mark?
wanted to deliver any coal to you guys.
I
so-
am. We got our shipping crates today. We did all the weighing and we load everything up. It looks like we're going to get everything out of here tomorrow.
Oh, cool.
Just depends on what time we can get a FedEx freight truck to stop by and pick up the shit.
Get here safely.
We plan on it. Our only goal is we're buying economy, so we have like 9 days to beat the freight to our house. But we do have to be there. We do have to get there. We do have to get there before the freight does, because my daughters will think it's for them, and they'll
Yeah.
take everything out of it. So
Tear
I was
into
about
it
to
like
say,
Jack.
as a gay man, beat the freight meant something very different in the 90s. But never mind.
Oh, you simplistic.
as a union man, beat the freight man means something different too.
Yeah. Well, I'm
So
gonna
we'll
miss
see
over
everybody. We'll see everybody, but Andy next week. We'll be looking for a new. We're looking for a new announcer. Oh, I have tickets for Thursday's Wait, Don't Tell Me at the Fox Theater.
Oh wow, that's
If
great.
anybody's interested in those.
Oh hey,
We
I
can
met
talk
John
about it.
Cleese this last day. I went to the Comic-Con. So
Wait.
Very cool.
So Andy won't be here?
no,
Andy will not be here.
Is Ellen available?
oh
Ellen?
Ellen DeGeneres.
Oh, I'll see if I can. I'll see if I can.
Speaking about people who are badmouthed in that Quora thing, holy shit! Oh my God, Ellen DeGeneres! Oh my God!
Wow.
The nicest thing they said about her was vicious.